Welcome to Event with Michelle Malkin. On the front burner today, Mark Steyn. We are happy to bring you a very special edition of the show today from Washington, D.C. Mark Steyn is joining us. He is the author of America Alone, The End of the World as We Know It. I wish we could use the REM video, but we'd run into copyright violations there. And he's also the most famous of global content providers. He blogs and has a website at steynonline.com. Mark, thanks so much for joining us here on Hot Air TV.
Great to be with you, Michelle. I'll sing you 16 bars of the REM thing if you...
Could you?
If you need... Well, I don't know about that. It's maybe something mellower, maybe more in my line. But I'm excited to be here. This is my... I'm not even sure what my very first of it is, but whatever this is, this new internet form, this is the first time I've ever done an internet camera thing with anyone, so this is my very first time, Michelle.
Well, thanks for joining us. We have toyed with the idea of rewriting the REM song to update it for a post-9/11 world. My partner Brian Preston and I did the same thing with Give Peace a Chance, which we turned into Give Jihad a Chance. So we might be threatening to do that.
Well, I Give Peace a Chance is one of those songs I really never want to hear again. I was up in Quebec a few months ago, and a bunch of Quebecois pop stars, whom I love dearly, but if you're a Quebecois pop star, with the great exception of Celine Dion, nobody in the rest of North America has heard of you. And they were all singing their Give Peace a Chance, a special anti-war version they'd recorded. And in the middle of them, one of these highly accented Quebecois pop stars suddenly goes... in the middle, give peace a chance. Are you listening, Mr. Bush? And I think the answer to that is definitely no. But good for them. We should all say what we think.
Yeah, indeed. I want to read you a quote. One of the things that an author who is just launching a book always hopes for is a news hook on which to hang the launch of a book. And, of course, the 300 million mark happened right around your book launch. And then here we have this, a quote. Western countries have problems, and since they have a negative population growth, they are worried and scared that if our population grows, we may dominate them. Who said it?
I've no... Who? It was that
I'm wondering,
Colonel Gaddafi?
I am wondering if you didn't pay this guy to help promote your book. It's Ahmadinejad this weekend, who was urging Iranians to have more kids. I'm against saying that 2 children aren't enough. It segues right into... one of the main points of your book.
Yes, it's a conscious strategy. He's joined the crowd because I know that Colonel Gaddafi and a few others have said this over the years, the big shot imams, that basically you can participate if you breed fast enough and the people you're with breed slow enough in one of the fastest population transformations ever seen. That's what's going on in Europe right now. And to be honest, I don't blame Jacques Chirac for figuring that in his situation the last thing he needs is to go to war alongside George W. Bush, because I don't think France is ever going to be going into war alongside the United States ever again, and certainly not into its co-religionists in the Middle East. It's a huge demographic transformation. We've never seen one happening this fast.
And so for people to wake up and see headlines now about a quote-unquote permanent intifada in France, it didn't just come from nowhere.
No, and I was I was modestly encouraged by that. I think I first used the word about what's going on in France, the intifada, about 4 months after September 11th, early 2002. And everyone said, oh, that's ridiculous, talking about this as a low-level intifada in France and all the rest of it. Now the head of the French police union has said it. It's a permanent feature of French life, and it's getting nearer and nearer to the Élysée Palace and the Champs-Élysées and the Arc de Triomphe and all the kind of bits of tourist France every day.
112 cars a day burning there in France. And yet you have most of the local media there and the international media by extension whitewashing who's behind all of those cars burning. It's still, quote-unquote, unidentified youths behind it.
Yes, youths, except when some white youths rioted down in Sydney in Australia, they were suddenly referred to as white youths. Everybody else is just youths. And in a sense, you know, they make the point. The point about youths is that they're youthful. And the significant feature of the Muslim population in France and most other European countries is that they're the young people. Not just France. You go to Belgium, if you go to the Netherlands, the young people on the streets, you can tell a lot about a city, about who's on the street after 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. And if you're on the streets of Brussels or Rotterdam or Malmo in Sweden after 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, you'd think they were Muslim cities. That's what they are. That's who the young people are.
The average age in Palestine is? In
the Gaza Strip, it's 15.6 years. And I find it so amazing, you know, if you talk about the Palestinian situation, everyone goes back into the mists of time. They think, well, you know, the Israeli occupation, 1967, and the founding of the State of Israel. These guys have no memory of that. They've lived in when people talk about the Oslo Accords, these are children of Oslo. They're the product, their entire memory has been to be raised in Yasser Arafat's terrorist squat in the Middle East. And they are the product of that, raised in a death cult. There's millions and millions of them. There's no economic opportunity. You know, if they were in a mildly economically depressed Maine logging town, they'd hold up the gas station. But because they're in this death cult, they've got bigger ambitions, and they'd rather